the NFCC and your host for today's Financial Facts Chat. Once again, I am joined here by Bruce McClary. I just wanted to thank everybody for joining today. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, it's great to have you with us. If you enjoyed today's show, please like, comment, share, subscribe to our page. All of those will help us to demonstrate the your support for financial education, and it helps us to keep the channel going. So Bruce is our Senior Vice President of Communications for the NFCC. Bruce is here today to answer some questions, and we're also going to give you all an update on where we stand on our challenge that we undertook last week. How are you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing great, Rachel, and hope you're staying warm and doing okay today, too. It's kind of a crazy weather day.
It is. It was snowing earlier. Now it's kind of rainy and slushy, so staying indoors today.
Kind of a sloppy, sloshy winter day today.
Yeah.
You know, a good day to do indoor stuff like this and stay out of the elements. It's no fun to be outside right now, but there's a lot going on really here. Doing a lot. I've been doing a lot of interviews. Usually, when it comes to journalists at this time of year, a lot of requests come in because people like to get their articles out of the way before the holidays, get the content out there, and even start focusing on some of the topics that we're going to be dealing with in the new year. So it's been kind of a busy time talking about a ton of different personal finance topics this past week. It's just a broad range of things, and of course, in the news now. Happening as you and I are talking, they're ironing out final details of the next stimulus package. So that's going to be huge news probably in the next day or two, if not this evening. But one thing I wanted to bring up, because debt and the holidays, that topic is sort of compounded by some of the debt issues that people are having related to COVID. So in next month's Kiplinger Personal Finance magazine, which is already out. The January edition is out. If you pick it up, it looks like this. You'll find an interview in Kiplinger Personal Finance where I comment along with other experts on some of the ways that people can deal with debt right now, given the struggles that people have with COVID and also the time of year itself. So again, the January edition of Kiplinger Personal Finance. Pick it up at your virtual newsstand or your actual one if you're still into reading paper magazines, as this is. But a lot of good content in there besides that article about dealing with debt. But I just wanted to bring that up at the top of the show, just so that people can read a little bit more. A lot of really great experts in there. Ted Rossman, who's an economist with Bankrate. He's in there as well. We have somebody from an NFCC member agency, MMI, who's also commenting in the article, and a number of other financial experts there. So it's a good read. Check it out. And that's kind of what I've been up to, just nothing but talking to a lot of journalists right now.
That's great. I think that's really exciting, and I'm sure it's filled with valuable information. So I will check that out.
Yeah, it's a good magazine in general. So it's always good. They've got a ton of good tips on retirement, on savings, on dealing with debt, just you name it. So paying off college loans, things like that. So it is good. So you and I had some kind of a competition here recently.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely have some interesting insights to share from last week, where both of us kind of undertook this project where we had agreed to track our spending and apply as many coupons as we could to all of our purchases. How did you feel about it, Bruce?
Well, I'll tell you, again, this is just a little bit of a confession for me. I give out advice all the time about how people should do as much as they can to save money and use this tool and that tool. But coupons are an area where I personally fall short, and I don't often use coupons to the full advantage of getting the biggest discounts. So this was really my first time going in, going all in on couponing and trying to get the biggest discounts. So my first impression, and I'll have to admit, I consulted with my sister, who's an expert at couponing. So I don't know if that's cheating, but kind of like getting an NBA player to come into your pickup basketball game.
I'll allow it. I think that's fair. I'm sure everyone can learn from her great tips. I'd like to learn her secrets for sure.
But even with all the tips and the information that she gave me, she said she gets frustrated a lot too, because it's not as simple as it used to be. And she's looking at it from the perspective that, it used to be just cutting coupons out of a Sunday newspaper, and that's what you have, and you take it to the store, and that's your discount. Now it's more of a layered approach to really get the most discounts. So I think something that we both kind of agreed on when we were talking is that you almost need a PhD in couponology to actually figure out. It's like breaking into the matrix here, because you've got all these things that are going on and these layers that you're dealing with in discounts. So it's not as simple, and it's oftentimes frustrating. You've got your store reward card, which I used and took full advantage of on grocery shopping. So you've got that, but you've also got, and this was the case with my situation, they have a website for your grocery store where you can add digital coupons to your card. So when you use your card, you're also taking advantage of these coupons that may not have the tag in the store that says, this is your reward card discount. So you add those to your card, use your reward card, but you also get those as well. But on top of that, there are these third-party apps, and I'll just name one. This isn't an endorsement, but it's coupons.com. They have an app. So I tried to use that as well, and I printed some coupons using that. So I had printable coupons. I had the digital coupons that I added to my reward card for the store, and I also took advantage of the published discounts that were connected directly to that reward card. But it was just, it's like all these steps you have to go through that are, it's time consuming, but you do save money. So it was a bit frustrating. And then you have to go and check your store policy on coupons. So I went to the website of my grocery store, and they have this thing full of legalese. So you also have to be an attorney to do couponing, to read like what they'll accept and what they won't accept at the register, because there are all these exclusions. You can't do double coupons if you're also, using two different digital types. It's crazy. So I learned that it's frustrating, but dealing with the frustration does pay off, and we can talk about that in a minute. But what was your experience? Like, what did you find surprising, and also what did you find frustrating and rewarding?
Well, I think you made an excellent point that it kind of does require a lot of research and work on your part to get all the coupons collected and kind of have a strategy about where to look for them, making sure you apply them at the right time, and how to use them. But I guess my previous experience, I would use coupons some of the time. If I remembered, like I wouldn't really seek them out, but sometimes, you get a discount code sent to your email, or you just get something in your mailbox. You think, okay, I'll use that. I'd say I use those things when they're applicable, but I'll also admit that sometimes I forget to use my coupons. So I will have a whole folder of them. I would go to the store and forget to use them. So I am guilty of that. I feel like I did okay. I think I could have done better if I had been more strategic about my shopping, which I think is another piece of it. You kind of have to have a plan, go to the store, bring all your coupons, know what you're going to get. And that's not really how I shop. I'm not that much of a planner, and I think it would have served me better if I took that approach, maybe.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the planning part, because it's the other area where I was, I was dealing with a little bit of frustration because it took me out of the routine that I have for grocery shopping specifically, where I was actually having to make product decisions based on the available discounts. And in order to get the biggest discounts, I also had to do some other uncomfortable things, like go with a brand that I don't typically use or even like. So those were some things that, to save the most, you have to make some compromises
Yeah.
to save the most. So I probably could have saved a little less by going with some of the brand names that I like, or, doing some other things. The other thing that I found out, though, that was actually, and I don't want to get into some kind of editorial comment here. These are just my views, but I found it really disappointing that there weren't as many discounts on produce and meat and things like that, especially the produce, because I like, vegetables and fruit, things that are healthy choices. There didn't seem to be as many discount options. But then, when it came to, and this is just my view, is what I was looking at with the coupons that were available this past weekend, and it may have just been this past weekend, I don't know. But it just seemed to me that the less healthy options seemed to have the deeper discounts.
Yeah, I noticed that too. A lot of them were like the bagged or packaged foods or processed things, from big companies that can kind of offer discounts like that. I didn't have a whole lot of luck getting discounts on my groceries, really. I mean, I did get some savings using the store loyalty card, that's, attached to your keychain, whatever, just remembering to scan that. I got a little bit of savings, but I didn't really find a whole lot of other opportunities. So I am curious to hear, um, you know, kind of how you did that and what your savings were actually.
Well, yeah. So let's compare savings. And again, I did not do any other shopping this week, so that was it. My grocery trip on Sunday was the big trip, and it was big. It was the cart load for the rest of the month and probably into the beginning of the new year. So it was. I probably can't afford to spend anything else this week. So I can't. Okay, there it is. So you see where they circle the savings there. So I'll just read. I've already shown you, I think, this to verify. But my total savings in terms of a percentage of the bill was 31% of the total grocery bill. So I saved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That's significant.
And I think if I'd have just used that reward card, that keychain reward card, I don't think it would have been too much different from this, but I probably would have saved maybe about 15% in that range if I'd used just that without the additional coupons from either the printout coupons or the going to the website and pushing coupons onto that account.
I think that made a big difference because I'm going to look at what I was able to do with my groceries here. Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of savings based just on that card. I think it was between 4 and 5% only.
Oh, wow.
Just by swiping the card. So I think you had the right strategy to actually print them out and also go online and kind of click through and add them to the card.
But again, I made some compromises, and in not just in the brands that I chose, but also in the quantity that I bought, because there were a couple of instances where I had to buy more than I usually would to take advantage of the full discount. But these were goods that did not expire necessarily. These are household goods. So I felt like I could stock up on these things and take advantage of the discount. One of them was a buy two, get three free discount.
Whoa.
So, and that was on diet soda. So if you're looking for diet soda, I've got like a closet full of diet soda. Right? So that's one of the things. And then the other thing too, like things like this is vegetable oil cooking spray, no stick. So there was another opportunity. It was like a buy one, get one free. And I figured, well, I don't cook a lot, but if I get 2 cans, it has a long shelf life. So it's not going to expire before I use it all. So that was buy one, get one free. That was a pretty deep discount there. And that was something I had to buy on my list.
That's a good way to do it, is to kind of search for those type of discounts and stock up. I've always heard that buying things in bulk, or maybe not in bulk, but in larger sizes or in multiples of the same product, is a way to get some good savings.
Yeah, and if you're going to use it, it makes sense to do that. I did that at the beginning of the summer with sparkling water, with fizzy water, and that was went overboard with that, but it was a huge discount. So it's kind of like the buy 2 get 3 free, but I did like double the purchase. So I bought 4 and I got 6 free. These are like the big 12 packs, the big cases. So I had sparkling water all summer without having to restock, basically. So
that's a great idea, because I feel like I'm constantly running to the store specifically just to buy sparkling water. So
yeah, so when those discounts come along, it works out pretty good. But again, on the healthy food side, the only real discounts I found in the produce section were on bananas and asparagus. They had a discount on asparagus and apples, and that was it. There was like there were some other discounts on other produce items that I just didn't need or use, but they were really scarce. And then again, on that coupon section, junk food, it was just like all the discounts you ever imagined or wanted were in the junk food aisle. So I probably could have saved a lot more than 31% had I spent more time going down the cookie and cracker aisle to get potato chips and stuff like that. So again, that was just my experience with this. It was a fun exercise. So are you going to continue doing this beyond this little competition, or are you frustrated to the point where you're giving up?
No, I think I definitely will do it. Though the other thing I'll share is that I actually did do some shopping beyond groceries. So I did some online shopping, and I did shop at a local business in my neighborhood for Christmas or holiday gifts, decorations, and other kind of festive items. So I think I did maybe 6 different purchases from different things online and in store. And like I said, I was able to get the very small discount from the grocery store. And I did get a discount in one of my online gift purchases too, of 20%. And that's because I used a coupon that I had got in the mail. So I do think it's worth hanging on to them. Do what you can for sure and see what you can save. I think certainly, one thing that I learned was I just had to be more cognizant and try to remember to use them in the moment. And so I actually ended up putting a sticky note somewhere very visible that said, use a coupon. So I would actually remember to go ahead and pull them out or pack them up before I went to the store. So that's something I think I'll definitely keep trying to do because, 20% is a great savings. 30% that you got, that's amazing. Why spend more money when you can get the same thing for cheaper? That's kind of what I've learned.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I think my sister inspired me because she saved 40% on her trip to the store. So
wow, that's impressive.
So I'm aspiring to get to that level, but I think now the training wheels are still on, but I definitely want to do this as I go again. I'm not going to have to make another trip to the grocery store for some time, but there are other opportunities to go shopping that are probably going to come up at times during the holidays. So I'm going to be very mindful of what discounts there are, what kind of coupons are available, how to get the most out of it. So more to come. So this was fun.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I'm definitely up for trying some other financial advice out there. See how it works.
Yeah. So let's talk real quickly just about some of the holiday shopping stuff, though, and then we can talk about our next challenge. and a little bit about that. I'm really excited about the next challenge. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, me
But
too.
right now it's there are a lot of, this is such a different holiday season this year, and so I'd love to share a few tips to people just on some things that are top of mind as we're getting close to the end of the year. So what kind of questions do we have?
Yeah, we have a number of good questions to cover today, all related to holiday saving and spending. So, like you said, very topical and relevant. The first one is, how is holiday shopping different this year than previous years?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest differences is that, first of all, there's a lot of emphasis on more emphasis on online shopping, and that's been increasing over the years because every year it seems like there's more activity on Cyber Monday and maybe a little bit less on Black Friday. But now it just seems like because of the impact of COVID, because so many communities are still concerned about in-person shopping and large crowds, the retail on-site opportunities for shopping might be more limited. So it's driven even more people into the online marketplace, which actually can be good and it can be bad depending on your view here. But the online marketplace, you really want to make sure that you're getting the best deal, you're shopping at the right times, you're looking for the biggest discounts, you're doing your comparison shopping. All retailers, of course, the major retailers have very robust websites. They're offering shipping, they're offering discounts. Discounts vary from week to week. So you still have to do the same thing. The basics apply. Keep an eye out for discounts, shop competitively, keep a list, and start as early as you can. I mean, that's kind of nonsensical advice right now because we're only we've only got about a week, and then we're right on top of Christmas, and then New Year's is after that. But it still makes sense to give yourself a little bit of time to do some research, even now if you haven't done your shopping. And there are some discounts still to be found, but the clock is running out on some of those discounts. There's still time to save. So I would say, shop competitively online just as you would if you weren't planning on shopping online. Look for the discounts. Don't just look for the discounts that are directly available through the retailer when they're offering sale prices, but what we talked about earlier, look for third-party coupons, look for other types of incentives to save on some of the things that you're getting for the holidays. And if you're in a bind, just be very careful about the money that you're spending. And you may want to think of gift alternatives too, as well. And of course, if you're in a situation where you can be generous this year, and maybe you haven't done this in years past, you might want to consider donating to some charities during the holiday season. There are a lot of people who can't put food on the table. There are a lot of people who can't adequately clothe their families. Other very, very serious issues out there. And so those of us who might be in a position to help out, that's a good thing to do as well, just to give the gift of a donation to help out an organization or others, and even donate in the name of people that you know and give that as a gift. So that can also be a gift opportunity as well.
I think that's a great idea. And thanks for those useful insights on holiday shopping. I'm definitely going to put those to use because I do have a few last minute things that I need to get. So,
well, the other thing about last minute,
our next question is also.
The other thing about last minute, just real quickly, if you're ordering at this point, you also might want to consider the fact that shipping is backed up right now. I ordered some things the other week that are still delayed in the shipping process, and it's possible they may not even show up to the intended recipients by the time Christmas morning rolls around. So some things that you can consider, you might want to get gifts that are things that people can take advantage of directly online, like buy somebody access to a streaming music service or streaming video service, or some other thing that they can access and enjoy in the digital world that doesn't require physical delivery from point to point. Then you might be able to get your gift on time to those that you're shopping for.
That's a great piece of advice. And I think there's so many new services that have cropped up since the beginning of the pandemic when everything kind of moved online. So there's some really great gift options out there for online lessons or courses
Mhm.
or streaming options, what have you. So let's move on to our next question now, which is also related to holiday finances. What would you advise to someone who doesn't have a holiday budget?
Yeah, this is always a tough spot. Sometimes people get to this point in the month, they haven't they haven't really focused on the holidays. Now they're getting to the point where they can focus on the holidays. They don't have a budget. What can they do? It's especially difficult this year because, again, you don't have a lot of opportunities uh, to use gift substitutions that you might otherwise in a non-COVID year. Doing things for people that you know, for example, if you have a skill or expertise in gifting those things so that you're not spending any money. Obviously, if you have a trade expertise or if you have some kind of skill that requires you to be in somebody's house or next to somebody or with large crowds, probably not the year to be donating that. But there are still things that you can do that might not cost you much, where you can still at least give people something that shows that you're caring about them and you're thinking about them during the holidays. You can still make items, use craft skills to put things together for people. But obviously, if it's to a point where you're not able to support yourself financially during the holidays, you really should be thinking about yourself, and there's no shame in doing that. There are a lot of people right now that are reaching out for help at a time of year when they would otherwise be giving to others. And if you're in need, don't be ashamed of that. The resources are out there. Go ahead and take advantage of the help that's out there and let the people you love know what you're dealing with. I mean, these are people that you care about, so they likely care about you just as much, and there is concern, and they may be in a position to help. So even though you may want to give and you're in a very difficult situation, you might want to take a step back and think about that and think about the things that you may need to do for yourself and your family to stay afloat this year. So that's another thing as well. But I think if you can't afford the holidays and you don't have a budget and you're at this point, again, do what you can, put cards together, send people notes, make something for people if you can cook or if you can do things like that. You might be able to bake things and send them to people that you know. But use this as a lesson as well, and think ahead to next year and think about what you can do to prevent this from happening next year. And use a full 12-month budget to start setting aside money for the holidays if you're in a position to do so. And that can take the pressure off next year when we get to the holiday season. And then you can start well ahead of time shopping to get the best discounts, using the money you save throughout the year, etc. So, it could be an opportunity to create a new habit that gets you out of this bind in the year ahead.
Thanks, Bruce. I think that's a great point. People shouldn't feel pressured to give if they're not in a position to do so and need help themselves. And there's definitely no shame in that at all. And I also love the idea about creating a gift or maybe using some craft skills to give a handmade or homemade kind of a gift. I'm certainly doing that a little bit myself and working on some crafty projects this year.
That's nice.
Our last question is about debt, unfortunately. How would you advise people deal with debt if they've already overspent?
Yeah, if you've already overspent, you're dealing with debt. Again, this is another situation where I would encourage you to get help sorting out that debt and affordably repaying that debt as soon as you can. If you need to put together a strategy to power pay that debt, sit down and think about the different ways that you can make the most progress in clearing that debt off the books before it becomes unmanageable. That's if you're in a situation where you can repay the debt, but you just need to look for the most efficient and cost-effective way to do that. The longer you carry that debt from month to month, the more it's going to cost you. You don't want that. So you want to make sure you're paying the least amount for the debt and you're clearing it off as affordably as possible. Now, if you're in a situation where you know that debt is not affordable, you can't repay it, and when the first bill comes next month, you're going to be in full freak out mode. it's probably a good idea. In fact, it's absolutely a good idea to reach out and get help. The nonprofit credit counseling agencies are there to support you at that moment and put together a workable, affordable, sustainable plan for you to get out of debt. So you can get in touch with a nonprofit credit counseling agency by going to nfcc.org. And it's a national network of nonprofit credit counseling agencies that can help you put together a budget, help you work out a plan to pay off the debt, and also help you avoid getting back in that situation again by putting together strategies to prioritize savings so you have that additional cushion. So that's my advice there. But I do see we have a question that came in from somebody about they're asking, what tips do you have for people receiving holiday bonuses? What's the best way to use those? Well, it depends on your situation. If you've got a lot of high interest rate debt in front of you, I would say you probably want to take as much of that as possible and apply it towards paying off that debt. Credit card debt right now comes with a very high interest rate for most people. If you have other debt that comes with double-digit interest rates, it's not doing you any good as long as it sits on the books. So I would say at least take half of that, if not more of that, and try to do as much as you can to pay off that debt. But you can't overlook savings either. So it's important for you to put some of that money aside in savings. So many people are woefully unprepared for emergencies because they just haven't been putting aside money in savings. And for some people, they may not have money in savings because they've already used it during a year that probably gave them more than one financial emergency, and they've already depleted their savings. So a lot of people are starting from scratch with savings. A lot of people haven't really been focusing on savings as much as they should. So if you're in either of those categories, take as much as you can out of that bonus and apply it to savings. It's also very important as well to clear that high interest rate debt out of the way and pay off as much of it as possible so it's not costing you in the long run. And here's how I would say to simplify that. So if you have both high interest debt and you know you need to put aside money for savings, we've talked about this before in budgeting, but this can be a rule for allocating your bonus check. Use the 50-30-20 rule. Except in this case, with your bonus check, you may want to get rid of the 20% and just do a 50-50. 50% goes to savings, 50% goes to debt. But if you do want to have some fun with your bonus check, you can do 50% to your savings, 30% to your high interest debt, 20% have fun with it. I mean, if you want to do it that way. But it's important to tackle both. So that's a good question about using your bonus. If you don't have any high interest debt and you're good with your savings, you know what you can do with that bonus? Have fun. But still put some into savings. Don't ignore your savings, but you can still have fun with it.
Well, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. So we have a challenge. So tell me about this challenge that you've cooked up for us. What do you have me doing this time?
Well, what both of us will be doing, one of the pieces of financial advice that I often see promoted, from experts or in blogs or, and every kind of website that's ever giving financial advice is to monitor your credit score. So I think we should both spend the next week checking our credit score, and kind of learning about the different scores, where you can find them. Are they free? What goes into a credit score? And see kind of maybe what the differences are between all of the different options that we can come up with within the next week.
I'm up for that challenge. I think it's a great topic because if you go out and you look around, and this is interesting because 10 years ago it wasn't like this, but you can almost get your credit score from anything. I mean, I open my refrigerator and it gives me my credit score. I get a soda at the vending machine and it comes with a free credit score. So it seems like you're getting your credit score from a lot of different places. Sometimes you get it for free, sometimes you have to pay for it, but it'd be interesting to see what comes with that credit score, what the differences are, what goes into it, who the sources are, what does that mean? So I'd love to do that. And I think in terms of the way I would approach it, I already get a free credit score from my credit union every time I log in on their website and I do my banking. it comes up every day. It's right in front of my face. So that's one source right there. So I can look into where they get it. I can look into what it means. But I'd also like to try to explore some of these apps and websites, financial tools that also offer a free credit score, and just see what's behind that, and if it truly is free, and what does it mean. And then maybe we can stack it up to compare with some of the traditional credit score sources, like going directly to the credit bureaus.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, my experience with credit scores probably similar to yours, where I do get mine free offered from my bank when I do online banking. So I'm kind of familiar with that one, but I would like to see, investigate some of these other sources and see what the differences are, because I know sometimes you have a different score when you're looking, and I'd like to learn more about why that is and which one we should trust.
Yeah, and the differences in the scores, it can be confusing. A friend of mine I was in touch with this past week was frustrated a little bit about changes in the credit score. Why is it changing from one day to the next? And why can't it go up a couple of points because of certain activity? So there are those frustrations, but it's also confusing too when you're looking at a score from one source and a score from another source, and the numbers don't match, and you're wondering why is that. So we can address that as well, because I'm sure there might be some differences between the different sources that we use individually, where I might come back from one source with one credit score that looks great, and another source with a credit score that might not look as great, or maybe it looks better, and we can figure out why that is.
Yeah, I think this will be a good one. And it's definitely a good way to kind of wrap up 2020 and look forward to 2021. We'll be off to a good start, well informed of our credit scores.
Yeah, at least we'll have that.
Yes. Well, I think that probably just about wraps it up. I'm just going to let all our viewers know once again that we welcome all of your personal finance questions. We always look forward to answering them. We'll try to answer them directly through an email reply, as an article on our blog, or here in our live chat. So feel free to drop them in there next time. Yeah, if you guys have any other ideas for any other financial advice challenges that Bruce and I should try out in the future, please let us know. I think we're pretty much game for trying out a lot of this stuff that you hear. So we're definitely looking forward to reporting back on our next challenge of checking our credit scores.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If anybody in the audience has some ideas or suggestions for us on a challenge, we are totally at your mercy. Well, I won't say it that way, but but we're not going to do anything, but we'll do almost anything.
Within reason. Within reason.
So yeah, send your suggestions. We'd be interested to hear what you might have to suggest. Again, we've already done the couponing. This next challenge is going to be the credit score comparison from different sources. So yeah, let us know what you think. That's a great suggestion, Rachel.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Bruce, and take care and good luck on checking your credit score.
All right. I'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.